Sitaram. Once again, welcome to SWA DHARMA, aired exclusively on Sankhya TV. We are on program number 7. It's a continuation from the last program whereby we are discussing maximizing the benefits of daily prayer. A point that we keep repeating, but just for the sake of getting it clear in the individual's mind that prayer does not have to be a long drawn-out process, particularly one's individual prayer. It can be done in 5 minutes. What we are showing here is how we can maximize. So we last spoke about offering a flower. Offering flowers as dhyan, fine, but each day, and we have shown the technique of using the day of the week, we can designate that very flower offering and convert it from dhyan to mala. Question arises, what are the appropriate colors? In Vidyaram's sanskar, there are 16 sanskars in Sanatana Dharma. The sanskars are basically various phases in life which we are endowed, which we are instructed with certain responsibilities that will make us better human beings and more so a better fit in a society. Once a society has the input of beneficial individuals, then that society becomes a worthy nation, and then we are at the global negotiating table. And Sanatana Dharma recognizes this, that the individual has to be taught, has to imbibe his or her responsibilities in 16 stages in life, starting with Garbhadhan Sanskar, the first Sanskar, which is conception, which is out of the ambit of an individual, but which really is the responsibility of the parents who bring that child into the world. And from there, those parents are made privy to the responsibilities of parenthood. So, in Vidyaram Sanskar, one of the earliest Sanskars, children are taught at the Montessori level, which is about roughly the age of Vidyaram Sanskar, where the art or the act of learning begins. They are taught by colors. That's a chief instrument in teaching children. And likewise, when we go to the Devatas, the colors are specific, that means something to them. If all our lives we have been offering an orange flower, a yellow flower, whatever, to Lord Ganesh, it's not a sin. But as we say, a true Hindu is open to knowledge, because the books of instruction of a true Hindu are the Vedas, which doesn't mean the property of Hindus. Vedas mean knowledge, the property of the world. And that, mind you, that knowledge is infinite, virtually unconquerable. And the Vedas have declared that knowledge, it's dynamic. And so we have now come to Bhagwan Ganesh, Pratham Puja Bhagwan Ganesh. What is the appropriate color? When we go to that prayer room to offer to Bhagwan Ganesh, and this is a quotation taken from Sri Ganapati Stotram. It constitutes 19 shlokas. We quote the sixth here. Om Shvetangam. Shwet is white. He is the white-bodied God. A point, we tarry a while, a point to be paid attention to, because during the year, roughly in the month of Bhado, when we do the worship of Bhagwan Ganesh, a murti is built for that worship and then immersed in water at the end of the worship over those roughly 11 days. And it's noteworthy that is the color of the body of Bhagwan Ganesh. It's white. Shweta Vastram. He is a god that is pleased with white clothing. Sita Kusum Ganaihe. We'll come to that because that's the core of the interpretation. Pujatam, when doing Bhagwan Ganesh Puja, Shweta Gandhehe, and also white sandal paste, chandan as the case may be. Coming back to this, kusum is the chief of flowers, the lotus. And which lotus? They have different hues of lotus. Sit means white. It's not the same as shwet, but these books are written in parables. It's literature. And this sit, the white, refers to the planet Shukracharya, Venus, where the color of Venus is white, or the favorite color of Venus is white. So it tells you that the Bhagwan Ganesh also Ganaihe, any type of flower that is white in color, appeases Bhagwan Ganesh. He is thrilled at the offering of a white flower to him. What does that worship of Bhagwan Ganesh, by being specific with a white flower, elicit from Bhagwan Ganesh? It elicits many of his blessings, including he is the main deity in a marriage institution. The mantra where the 12 revered names of Bhagwan Ganesh Om Sumukhaschai is uttered, we will see that he plays a main role in keeping a marriage institution stable. And for that to happen is not only by Bhagwan Ganesh's blessings. He points the parties of that institution, if they go to him reverently and offer the flower regularly, he points them in what are the main two tools to keep a marriage institution going and stable. And they are the ability to rebrand and the ability to reinvent ourselves. How many times, especially the male folk in Sanatan Dharma, they come into a marriage institution where they need to rebrand. They come with the habits of, they come home to a newly wedded wife and they redecorate the house, meaning that they don't shift the couch and so forth, The shoes goes one way, the tie goes one way, the shirt goes one way, and she now has to come and pick it up. We bought that. We need to rebrand that. And at the home of mother, who has a lot of dular and love for us, we're not too particular where the food came from, how it reached the home, how it was cooked and so forth, how the kitchen is spick and span, no vent for diseases, no dirty vessels and encouraging flies, etc. And cockroaches, we're not concerned about that as bachelors. That is done for us. We can't carry, we have to rebrand in a marriage institution. We have to help and share the responsibilities if it means helping clear ways and keep the place spick and span. The ability to rebrand, and Ganesh Baba's blessings point us in that important ingredient in a stable marriage institution that makes for a stable marriage institution. And the ability to reinvent yourself. You cannot be predictable as a marriage partner. That, on such and such a date, I know husband is looking forward to this this meal and so forth. That ability to reinvent ourselves, we must be unpredictable. Not every occasion that demand or that should accompany with a gift of anniversary or birthday, the spouse could sit back and say, well, I know I'm getting this, or the wife will say, or the husband will say, I know she's going to get such and such for me. We have to reinvent ourselves, and that is where Bhagwan Ganesh blessings, among his blessings, comes to the fore, especially in a marriage institution. How do we encourage it? By these subtle maneuvers in puja, choosing the right color flower, or the most appropriate flower, we should say, that is available, if it's available, to offer to Bhagwan Ganesh. Then we come to the Devis, so we move from the Ganesh to the Devis. But before we mention about the Devis, we quote the Devi Bhagavad, Skand 1, the first section of Devi Bhagavad. And it says, Pashu Hinaha, when Devi is worshipped, Pashu is animals. Hinaha, without, no sacrificing of animals in Devi worship. This is written in Devi Bhagavad. This is a quotation. So then what do we worship Devi with? Krita Yagyaha Purodasha. Purodash is like ghee, clarified butter. That is the main offering towards Devi. And we need to get this abundantly clear. If we profess to be, or if we want to be Devi worshippers, animal sacrifice is nowhere endorsed, especially in the authoritative Devi Bhagavad. The quotation is put here for our benefit. If even we are familiar with the Devi Chalisa, Durga Chalisa, here what Durga Chalisa says, Nahi Amish Bhakshani Maharani. The writer says, I know you don't partake, O Maharani, O great Devi, O Durga Mata, of Amish, of flesh and meat and so forth. So that will not find part of my offerings, says the devotee. So anyhow we spin it, we'll see that for Devi worship, animal sacrifice is out. So now as we proceed into the Devis, first let's deal with Saraswati Mata. What color flower? White flower. Where's the endorsement? Devi Bhagavad, Skand 9, the 9th section. What does it say? Sugandham Shukla Pushpam Cha. White flower, Pushpam is flower. Shukla Chandram, white Chandan. Repeated, Shukla Pushpanam, white flowers, are the ambit of Saraswati Mata. I'm just taking, we don't want to burden you with too much. It's there, all the various offerings, but we wanted to zero in on the appropriate color flower for Saraswati Mata's worship. And again, by pujing Saraswati Mata, apart from the offering, there has got to be an accompanying love, unconditional love for that deity which we worship. And when these things go in tandem, what happens among the blessings of Saraswati Mata is she helps to shape speech. And one of the core definition of sin is when we hurt or create hurt to our fellow man and to the environment. And hurtful words can certainly, the way how a child will answer their parent, how a husband will speak to his wife. It could be the choice of words, the tone may create hurt. Hurt that is irretrievable, no matter how much forgiveness we ask for. And hence, as a result, consequently, perhaps sin. And we don't want to carry too much to bhoge or carry the wages of sin too much into this life and other lives. So what we ask that Mother Saraswati help to shape our speech. Then we come to Mother Lakshmi, yellow flower. It's written again in the 9th skand of Devi Bhagavad. We choose the Lakshmi Chalisa here because we think people are fairly familiar with the Lakshmi Chalisa. And we quote part, Pushparaja Himaghara Virajat. Your chest is embellished with the offering of Pushparaj. That's it. Pushparaj. Pushparaj will mean the flower of a color that is topaz, which is a yellow in hue. So Chalisa clearly states that Lakshmi's favorite color for flower offering, Pushparaj, the color of hue of topaz, the color yellow. Lakshmi Mata, again, among the blessings that she would be able to give to us is unnati, progress, moving from one station in life to a higher station. Many times you think of Lakshmi Mata as just the goddess of wealth. She is that too, but wealth is not necessarily a measure of prosperity. This we have dealt with in satsangs previously. No need to stay too long there, but let's talk on unnati. Do we have progress in prayer? We send our children to school and we are furious if at the end of term exam that child is not promoted. And more so if that child has been doing well and is not promoted. Why are we furious? Because we will tell the principal, we will tell the teacher, well, the child is being stagnated here. But we find it quite okay to stagnate in prayer. So we start with one prayer. It may be a great prayer, Om Siddhi Buddhi Pradevi, Bhukti Mukti Pradayani, Mahalakshmi Maha Mantra. But when the end of life or when we reach our last breath, we still on that. That's all we know about Lakshmi. So we are furious if our children stagnate in their progress, but we stagnate in the bigger classroom, in the most important classroom, the classroom of divinity, the divine class, we stagnate. So by Lakshmi Mata's blessing, going to her with love, with bhakti, offering the flower. If we don't have a yellow flower and we can't access one, she will accept. But if we make the effort and access that flower and offer it her with love, then unnati comes in, then we'll be exposed to satsang, to realized people, to spiritually developed people who will share this, these types of knowledge with us, and there we promote, or we get promoted in the divine classroom. So the third of the major Devis, Durga Mata, and we go again to Durga Chalisa, but reference could be made to the 11th skand of Devi Bhagwat, which endorses basically the same concept, Raktavarna, Tanashobhita Chira, Raktavarna. The color which enthralls you, O Ma, is Rakta, is red. So much so that your body too is red. And this is the color of Durga Mata, the color that she is enthralled with. And of the many blessings of Durga Mata, she is the one who is the protector of righteousness. And her blessings will help us to stand up against wrongdoing. Not as she would have destroyed Shumba and Nishumba and the Chandan Munda, etc., and Mahishasura, but more so understanding by Durga Mata's blessings that the pen is mightier than the sword. So if we see wrongdoing being perpetrated, there are avenues with which we could pen, we can write, or we can tap into and echo our sentiments of protest. And why? We have like the editorials, and if even we find that the news, the print media might be biased for whatever reason, one of the benefits of social media is that one can not malign anybody's name, but if you think that the necessary or the required requisite corner is not taking heed of our protest against wrongdoing, we have social media. You use it in a constructive way, and it hits home. It hits home with evidence of wrongdoing, concrete evidence of wrongdoing, not maligning anybody's name, not making frivolous claims, but sound evidence of wrongdoing. We can enjoy the blessings and guidance of Mother Durga, because if we profess to be Durga worshippers, we must also walk in the footsteps of upholding righteousness. So we have talked about Ganesh Baba, about the three Devis. We come to Bhagwan Shiva. Bhagwan Shiva, there are a choice of three colors that Bhagwan Shiva is appeased with: white, orange, or green. White and green is the environment which he finds himself in Mount Kailash. Parvati Mata, on many occasions during her discourses from Bhagwan Shiva, their discussions, she would say, Prabhu, when the rishis and munis come here for satsang, why don't we erect a little shed for them? And Puranic history has a nice little episode on that, which is out of the ambit of our time. Suffice it to say that Bhagwan Shiva was able to convince Parvati Mata that the natural environment is what brings out the best in him. And of course, if we are talking about the natural environment of the forested Mount Kailash, we are talking about the snow-clad mountains, the white of the snow-clad mountains that enthralls Bhagwan Shiva, and the greenery of the forest. So he is a deity that is appeased by these two colors, but he's also Mahayogi, the ochre-colored hue or robes that the ascetics and so forth wear, the yogis wear. He is among the yogis, the Mahayogi, Bhagwan Shiva. And so one of the colors that appease him is orange. We may hardly, we used to think that you wouldn't really get green flowers. Well, actually, there is a green species of flowers available. Very interesting. But at least we could get white and sometimes orange flowers, where when we go to Bhagwan Shiva in daily prayer, be it at Chaturdashi, be it a Monday as the case may be, and we make the flower offering to him, it augurs well as far as the blessings of Bhagwan Shiva are piled upon us. Blue is not a preferred color of Bhagwan Shiva. Remember, he is a blue-throated god. His body is not blue. His body, the balance of his body is bathed in ash. And we learn that from Ramayana, all because of the bodies that have been cremated, where the name Ram was taken at the last hour, last minute. Bhagwan Shiva is so steeped in love for Ram Chandraji, name Ram, that he rolls in that ash. That's where he gets the ash-colored body. But he is a blue-throated god, all from the episode where he was asked to partake of halahal, that terrible poison at the time of the churning of the ocean. So it was an unpleasant experience. And in life, if we have some scar or some disorder of some sort that came from an incident, we don't revel in that, you know. It's an unpleasant experience. We acknowledge it and we move on. So Bhagwan Shiva, like us, he too is enamored of the pleasant experiences, those things that are pleasing to him, and those are the choice of his colors. If we were to mention that about Chaturdashi worship, which we highlighted in our last program, in Chaturdashi worship, when Bhagwan Shiva is worshipped on the 14th phase of the moon before new moon, yes, it helps to prevent the negatives of the upcoming Amavasya or new moon. And we made provisions that sometimes we don't have control of times in a day, times that something might happen. Well, there we will see on SVV calendar, even in a Chaturdashi, when it is not appropriate to make any major undertaking, there's a time that we can. What major undertaking? Major undertaking is not they are not recreational things. Those, you know, like we heading off to the beach or we're heading for some normal routine errand. Major undertakings mean that we are going to embark on a new project. We are going to make a decision that will have major important consequences. Those things we try to avoid doing on a Chaturdashi. And the things that we can't take care of, that's why we get to Bhagwan Shiva on a Chaturdashi to worship him with the flower, with the relevant color flower, so that we'll be able to withstand the challenges that may face us. By worshiping Bhagwan Lord Shiva, like all the other deities, there are special blessings that we accrue when we worship him in a structured way, the way that pleases him more. So if we go and offer a flower to Bhagwan Shiva, he's pleased. But when we take time off to research and see what pleases him, that is when we provoke, in a very positive way, the blessings of the deities. Bhagwan Shiva, he is Shul and Nash. Shul is pain, Nash is destroy. He destroyeth pain. And that is why he has the trident, the Trishul, which means three. In Sanskrit as in English means three. And Shul means pain. That the touch of that Trishul destroys our three pains. What three pains? Daihik, Daivik, and Bhautik. So firstly, Daihik, illness of the body or the mind, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and of the mind, depression, anxieties, etc. Bhagwan Shiva's touch of the Trishul, and this is metaphorically speaking, will help us, will bring us to the environment, that enlightened environment, where we'll know how to better take care of our body and how to reduce the weight, the baggage that the mind sometimes unnecessarily carries and unnecessarily pays attention to. There are things that the mind should give due attention to, but the unnecessary things that is referred to as the baggage that boggles and brings down the mind and creates all sorts of mental illnesses. Bhagwan Shiva, he too his blessings will carry us in the zone where that mind will be comforted. And we are talking essentially here is satsang, whether it be in the precincts of a temple, of a church, of a mosque, or wherever satsang is convened, where an authoritative approved text is recited, and there is a listening audience. Then, sometimes the body and mind is all right, but we find we are roller coastering in life, so to speak. Sometimes there's a crest, there's a trough, there's a crest, there's a trough, up and down, up and down. As we say in local parlance, every Monday morning is a problem. And that is where the grahas have intervened. And as we have mentioned quickly, they are the dispensers of karma. And we all have redress. Sanatana Dharma is not designed that we live in a watertight compartment. That through the laws of karma, we must go through this. And through the laws of karma, we must go through that. When Shri Ram Chandra had met Hanuman ji in the forest, and I quote, Hasi bole Raghuvansh Kumara, Vidhi kar likha khumeta nahara. Hanuman asked Shri Ram upon the instructions of Sugriv, who are you? And what did Ram say? Hasi bole Raghuvansh Kumara. Smilingly, Shri Ram says, Vidhi kar likha khumeta nahara. He who has written down, proverbially speaking, the decree of destiny on our mustak, on our forehead. I am the person who can remove that. So, our karmas, as we say, proverbially speaking, is our destiny is written on our forehead. The Lord says, I can remove those wages of whatever ill actions we have committed, knowingly or unknowingly, in this life and in past lives, by coming to Him with bhakti, unconditional love. So even the grahas, when they take effect, they too can be appeased once we get the blessings of Bhagwan Shiva and we get the know-how how to handle it. And of course, there is bhautik, unfortunately, natural disasters, things that we don't seem to have control, like hurricanes, earthquakes, typhoons, etc. And we use the word carefully, those things we seem to not be able to take care of. Well, Sanatana Dharma has a different take on it. If we check the history of the Puranas, long before there were natural disasters, the wise rishis and sages and saints, they got together in clusters and reverently performed their havan with the chanting of certain incantations relevant to whatever pending disaster that was about to take place, whether it would be the gale force of winds, whether it would be the parting of the earth or the shaking of the earth. There are specific mantras to take care of these. Almost could be compared to an insurance policy, where we put in the necessary work or mantra or undertaking, and there could be a staving off of pending disasters. And that is bhautik could be taken care of. So sometimes nationally, we need to, like hurricane season is coming, we need to get together, we need to choose, there are dates to choose, there are directions we choose, get together as Sanatanists. Because we don't live here alone as Hindus. We have other Islamic brothers, we have Christian brothers. We have the technique how to make the land safe and secure. We get together as Hindus and sit and perform structured havan, structured prayer, and help to safeguard the nation from these sort of disasters. And all that is why he's called Bhagwan, Father of the Universe. Just as a father looks after his household, we get to the feet of Bhagwan Shiva. He looks after the household, the land where we are born. So getting to him with worship, of studying what pleases him, the white, the green, the orange color flower, getting it and offering to him goes a long way in eliciting these types of blessings. Now we have chosen the color flowers for those deities that we are not too sure about, and there are special colors for all the deities, but we just chose the ones that are the point of concern. Other ones that are we are more familiar with, Hanuman Baba is red. There's a whole nice anecdote about how red with the Sindoor episode became his favorite color. Vishnu Bhagwan, the sustainer, his color is yellow. Shri Ram and Krishna Bhagwan, the color yellow. So colors form an integral part of Hindu worship. It's an expression of the love we have for the deities. When we seek into the Puranas, seek into the Shastras, seek into these authoritative texts to find out what is it that really pleases them. So many times we go to God to find out, to ask them to do things that will please us. but we have to carry worship to a higher stage. We ought to ask for that too and look for that too, but find time to see what pleases the gods. And that's the art that the rishis and munis have laid down before us. That's the art of getting the great blessings of the deities. Once again, we thank you for joining us on Sankhya TV. SWA carried exclusively on Sankhya TV on Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Have a blessed and productive week. Sitaram.